to a course on calculus for business. In the previous lecture, we have seen what is the need of calculus in business. Yes, basically a differentiation. This is the concept that we have seen. So differentiation deals with the rate of change, and we have seen some instances where this occurs, and with this idea we have developed the theory, and we found a formula, that is d upon dx of x power n is n times of x power n minus 1. We came till this. Okay. Before proceeding into the technical details of the concepts in differentiation, let us now get into some ideology, motivations behind it. Okay. As seen in the previous lecture, differentiation deals with the rate of changes. Is this concept exists only in business? No. As the name tells you, it is calculus for business. I have given you some examples. I have given you some instances that occurs in business and that motivated to the concept of differentiation. Okay. This rate of change may be seen everywhere, right? We are subject to change, which means we are undergoing the process of differentiation. Market. In market there are so many places. That comes again into business. If you take a biological growth of a person or a plant or an animal, that is undergoing the process of differentiation. Likewise, each and everything undergoes the process of changes, and hence that undergoes the process of differentiation, right? The concept of differentiation can be found anywhere and everywhere. Okay. Now we will look into few more instances, and that of course that are going to motivate us to some other places in the differentiation. Okay. Now let us take the case. If I invest, okay, if a person invests P rupees, he will get 2 power P as his income. Okay, so this is a scenario. This is a kind of a scenario. This may happen, right? If I invest 1 rupee, I will get 2 rupees as my profit. If I invest 2 rupees, I am going to get 4 rupees as my profit. If I invest 3 rupees, I am going to get 2 power 3, 8 rupees as profit. Actually, I have given you directly 2 power P. Instead, I should have told you this. And this generalization is to, if I invest P rupees, I am going to get 2 power P. Okay. If you didn't listen to it, okay, consider from this case, and you may generalize this to be this case. Okay. Here, what has happened? Okay. 1 rupee, 2 rupee, these are discrete cases. Like 1, 2, this is what we are dealing, right? Suppose if I take P lakh rupees, okay, of course he is going to get 2 power P lakh rupees as his income. That is well and good. But when we talk in lakhs, we may all, okay, this is 1 lakh, right? So if I invest this much lakh, I represent this as 1.5 lakhs. If I am going to invest this one, then I need 1.57 to represent this one. If I am going to invest this amount, then of course I need this quantity to represent this. Okay. If I am going to invest this, then this is written like this. And similarly it goes. Okay, if I am going to consider paise as well, 1,57,565 rupees 75 paise. Then I will have to write this as 5657 lakh. Right? So this 2 power, this quantity has to be calculated. Yes, of course, that is possible through some mathematical ideas. Okay, suppose instead of this 2, I am giving you 3. I am giving you 4, I am giving you 5. It may be any quantity, right? So when you try to plot this in a curve, in a graph, okay, the corresponding, let us consider this case. 1 is 2, okay, this way. 2 is 4 and 3 is far away. So this is something like this, okay, and this increases. So we call this kind of curves as this nature as exponentially increasing. Okay, so in mathematics we have a special constant that lies between 2 and 3. The value lies between 2 and 3 and the constant is named as E. It is approximately 2.7. Okay, with that also we may frame a function e power x, and this is generally known as exponential function. Okay, this is one of the functions that occurs in mathematics, and this function is motivated through these kind of ideas. Okay, here if I simply join these things, this 1, 2 and all, I will have to do this by straight lines, right? I have plotted this point, this 4 somewhere here and 8 here, right? So this is joined using these kind of straight lines. If I am going to consider some decimal values like this, then I get this to be a smooth curve like the one I previously drawn. Yes, these kind of things also happens in mathematics. These kind of things also happens anywhere, right? One of such function is e power x. Now we are going to find out the derivative of this e power x. Okay, okay. Technically speaking, it is the limit. We know that we have to talk about. Okay, let me take my function f of x to be e power x, and then the derivative of this denoted as derivative of x. This is limit delta x approaches 0, f of x plus delta x minus f of x upon delta x, and all this stuff leads to what? E power x plus delta x minus e power x upon delta x. And this, how do we do this? We all have studied this. Okay, generally x power a plus b may be written as x power a into x power b, right? Using that idea, this may be written as okay, we have this thing here, and e power x e power delta x minus e power x upon delta x, and when you take e power x outside, you have e power delta x minus 1 upon delta x, and this e power x is independent of this delta x. Hence you may take this outside and you will be left with this one, and using some mathematical techniques we can calculate the limit of this quantity, and this happens to be 1, hence it is e power x. So finally what we say is d upon, that is derivative of e power x, is going to be simply e power x. This is what we are trying to say here. Okay, these are some technical details. If you wish, you can learn these things. If not, it is enough to remember derivative of e power x is e power x. Okay, here I have written something, that is x power a plus b equals x power a times of x power b, right? So let me do it again. So x power a plus b may be written as x power a into x power b. So this is something of this kind, right? I have to make a product of these two quantities, and I am getting this to be exactly equal to x power a plus b. This one happened because of the ideas of logarithms. Okay, in mathematics we have something called logarithmic functions, which actually arose in order to help in order to perform some complex multiplication. Okay, I am not going to do the technical part of this. I am just going to give you the formula, that is log x is 1 upon x. Okay. You may ask, is there any relation between this e and log? Yes, of course. They are inverses of each other. Okay. If you take e power to this log x, you would get x. Or if you take log to this e power x, you are going to get simply x. Right? And logarithms are based on, logarithms as well as exponential functions are based on some base. Okay. What is that base? Here we have considered simply log x and e power x. This is the log with base e. Okay. You may define log function with any base. That may be any base. Okay. That the any base means it may be any positive quantity. Here we are talking about the log of this function. Okay. Not about any other functions. So apart from this, there are plenty of functions to which we can find the derivatives, but primarily we will deal with these three functions. Okay. In order to study much about calculus for business, it is enough to study about these functions. This is more than enough, I suppose. Okay. And in the context that we are going to do, we will deal with these functions only. If you remember these three formula, it is enough. These three are formulas with which we will proceed, and we have certain rules of differentiations as well, right? So those rules we will see now. Okay. Here we may consider any number of functions for derivatives. Okay, let us start with this. What is the derivative of sum of two functions? It is same as that of the sum of individual derivatives. This is also applicable for the differences of two functions. So seems quite easy to remember, right? Exactly. And then we have this constant multiples. Here k is any constant, right? If we have this constant does not affect the function, so it is going to be k times of du upon dx. That's it. Next comes the product of two functions. Here we may wonder, we may expect to get this, but this is not happening here. Okay. If you get into the technical details, it will take time for you to understand, and if you want, yes, of course, that will be done soon. That will be done soon. But as of now, I am not going to give you the technical details. I am just going to give you the actual thing happening here. That is u times of dv upon dx plus v times of du upon dx. Right? Here I have told you all these things, and of course we are going to have the quotient rule, and this formula is quite clumsy than the other. Sorry, this rule is quite clumsy than the other rule, so let me give it after a while. Okay, here I am talking about u, v, k, all these things, right? Here u and v are functions of x. So this is the basic thing. Okay, u and v are functions of x, which means this x is an independent variable. Okay, this is an independent variable. Based on these things only, this u and v performs, which means they are dependent variables. Okay, we can perform the differentiation. Okay, we can perform the differentiation to dependent variables with respect to the independent variable. Okay, so based on this x, there may be any number of functions, like I am going to invest a certain money. I may invest in any number of business which I run or I wish to run, right? So we may have any number of functions, that we have to remember very clearly, right? Here I am talking about sum of two functions. Can I extend this idea to sum of any number of functions? Yes, of course I can do. Suppose I am going to invest in 5 different businesses, which means here I am going to have 5 different functions. Let me call them as u1, u2, etc. till u5. Since we have considered only 2 functions here, I have written u plus v. That is well and good. Here let us say I am going to invest in 5 different functions. Okay, sorry, 5 different business. That's why I have taken 5 different functions. All these functions are based on my investment. Okay, the investment is money. That is the only one independent variable. Now I have to study the change that is happening in all these 5 businesses. That is simply the change that happens in individual businesses. I just take the change that is happening in individual businesses and I am going to sum it up, because each performs differently. Okay, so even if I have u1 plus u2 till u5, it is going to be du1 upon dx plus du2 upon dx, du3 upon dx, u4 upon dx plus du5 upon dx. And suppose I have u1 plus u2 plus u3 minus u4 minus u5, in the sense I will have corresponding minus here. That's it. Okay, these are some simple parts, and this may also be when you have d upon dx of k times of u plus v, this is a constant. Okay, so this may be considered as ku plus kv, and then you do this thing and this thing separately, and you finally you will end up with k times of du upon dx plus dv upon dx. So this is going to happen. This is well and good, right? Now the problem comes here. Okay, as of now you just remember this as a rule. Okay, there are so many technical details involved in it. If we go to calculate these things using the ideas of limits and all, so I am not going to tell you right now in this lecture. I am not going to give you. I'll do that as a separate lecture. If you wish to understand how we get this, you can go through it. Okay, and let me now give you the rule for this. This is going to be v times of du upon dx minus u times of dv upon dx. Okay, upon v square. This is going to be the case. If you wish to remember this also this way, you just remember this is v times of du upon dx and u times of dv upon dx. Okay, you have this for your product and this for your quotient, and all these have names. That is, this is sum, this is differences, and this is constant multiple, and this is product rule, and this is quotient rule. Okay, I think I have given enough rules, and I forgot to tell you one thing. What is the change happening to a constant function? What do we mean by constant function? Let us consider a non-profit organization, okay, which is being run under some government or some trust. Let us have like that. Okay, whatever may be the input that you give, okay, whatever you may invest, others may invest into it, that company, okay, that non-profit organization is going to get a constant amount from the government as an income. This is going to happen. Okay, so whatever they give, they are going to get a constant amount. So this is my function. Now what is the rate of change that is happening to this? If you see your x plus delta x, whatever x you give, you are going to get the c only. So it is going to be simply c. So this would be c minus c upon x plus delta x minus x, right? So this is 0 upon delta x. Whatever is the value of this delta x, we are going to make this delta x as small as possible, but we are not telling this delta x is 0. So whenever this happens, this is going to be 0. Therefore, d by dx of any constant is 0. All those formulas and rules that we have seen are summarized here, with which we will work out few problems now. The first problem that we are going to see is we are given y is 5x cube plus 9x square. Okay, so it is 5x cube plus 9x square. How are we going to do it? Let me do it completely, like step by step. We need to find out dy upon dx. Okay, so dy upon dx means d upon dx times of 5x cube plus 9x square. Okay, this is what we have. We have sum of two functions. So using this rule, we may write this as d upon dx of 5x cube plus d upon dx of 9x square. Now what are we going to do? We are going to do this constant multiple rule. So we shall take this constants outside. So 5 times of d by dx of x cube plus, here we may take 9 outside. So 9 times of d upon dx of x square. Okay. In order to perform this derivative thing, we have now made use of the rules. Now we are going to make use of the formula, right? So what is this? X power n. In the place of n, we have 3 here and we have 2 here. Okay, let us come here. So we have 5 times of, and this quantity alone. Okay, let me write that quantity in a different color. This quantity alone is what this is. In the place of n, we have 3, right? Just compare these two things. So we will have 3 here and x power 3 minus 1. So this is what we are getting, right? And here what we have, 9 times of, in the place of n, we have 2 now. So 2 times of x power 2 minus 1. That is what we have, right? Now this 5 times of 3, when you multiply these things, you are going to get 15, and x power 3 minus 1 is 2. Okay, then 9 times of 2 is 18, and 2 minus 1 is 1, so it is going to be simply x power 1, and we may write that as simply x. So this is the, okay, when you are given a function like this, what you have to do is that you have to apply your rules to simplify this function. Once you have applied all possible rules and simplified these things, now go to the formula and do that operation. Okay, now let us do the next problem, that is y is x square minus 4. Okay, question may be asked, simply find dy by dx. It may be asked like this. Differentiate, it may be asked like this, or sometimes find the differential coefficient of the function. It may be asked like this as well. But with respect to what? That is very important. Okay, find derivative with respect to x, find derivative with respect to y. Like that, it has to be specified. If, okay, let me come to that later. Now let us find it. Okay, here let us find dy upon dx. So this is dy upon dx is what? D upon dx times of x square minus 4. Now what should we do? We have to split this. D upon dx of x square minus d upon dx of 4. Okay, now we will have to apply the formula. Okay, so what is going to happen here? In the place of n, we have 2. So whatever we did here will be here, 2x power 2 minus 1. And this is derivative of a constant. Derivative of a constant is what? 0. So this is simply going to be what? 2x. Here dy upon dx is 2x. Clear? Now let me go to a little more complex function. Y is x cube minus 3x square plus 4x plus 3. Here we need to find out dy upon dx. Dy upon dx is what? D upon dx of x cube minus 3x square plus 4x plus 3. And this may be split. D by dx of x cube minus d by dx of 3x square plus d by dx of 4x plus d by dx of 3. Okay. Do all possible operations. That is, apply the rules as much as possible to simplify this thing. Here we cannot apply any rule to this. Okay, we have to apply only formula. So let us, as of now, let us write like this itself. Now, using constant multiple rule, using this rule, we may take this 3 outside. So minus 3 times of d upon dx times of x square, right? And again using constant multiple rule, we can take this 4 outside. So 4 times of d upon dx of x plus this is a constant. So let me write this as it is. Now here only 2 things I am going to make use of. What are they? That is x power n formula and constant formula. Okay, x power n, I will write it in red color. So in the place of n I have 3, so this is going to be 3 times of x power 3 minus 1. Okay, and here also the same. Actually, just a minute. Okay, so minus 3 I have already. Inside the bracket, what in the place of n I have 2. So this is going to be 2 times of x power 2 minus 1. Right? And then I have plus 4. Okay, and in the place I have nothing here, which means I have 1. So this is going to be 1 times of x power 1 minus 1. Right? And then I have simply a constant, which means derivative of a constant is 0. Okay, now I will have to simplify this. So this is 3 minus 1 is 2, therefore this is 3x square minus 3 times of 2, which is 6 times of 2 minus 1 is 1. So it is simply x power 1. And here we have 4 times of 1, which is going to be 4, and x power 1 minus 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. That x is an unknown quantity. It may take any value, which means anything per 0, that is the case we have, and that is going to be 1. So this is simply 4 and this 0. So this is the derivative of the given function, right? In the next lecture, we will see derivatives of a function which involves all possible things. Okay, thank you.